Hello and welcome to Conversation with Mrs. Fan. So today we're going to be talking about a sensitive issue, domestic violence and abuse, and we're going to be talking with a woman survivor, and she's going to be sharing her journey, from the start of the relationship until when things got out of hand and when she decided to seek help. And today she's going to be speaking to us via audio and will remain anonymous. So let's begin on today's conversation with Mrs. Pham. So once again, thank you for coming on Conversation with Mrs. Pham. So how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. And how are you yourself?
Oh, very well. Thank you. Thank you for asking. So we're going to go straight into this. This is a sensitive topic, like we know anything on violence on women or violence on men, domestic abuse is something very, very serious and sensitive. And I want to say thank you once more for coming on this program, and I appreciate that, you just want to remain anonymous. I really appreciate that because a lot of people want to. So I'm just going to start by asking you, getting into the relationship to start with, was it love at first sight? Did you see, what got you attracted to each other, and how did it all begin?
Wow, that's a tricky one for me. It wasn't for me. Because there is kind of a bit of age gap between I'm older than my ex. So it was, I had just broken up with my ex as a then, and yeah, and I got to meet this person through one of my girlfriends at school then, and they kind of, they were not related, but like she used to say, "Oh, my baby brother, my baby brother," and that was how we got to meet, and like I said, I had just broken up, and I was still like, I was kind of healing from that, and so he just came along, one thing led to another, and I will always say, because he knows I will say it to his face, and I always say because it's the truth. He grew on me. It wasn't love at first sight. Again, maybe because of the age difference, and because again, we tend to have our kind of, spec and everything that we wanted a guy. He wasn't all that for me. That's one of the reasons why anybody, and again, I would say, he always just make me laugh. He just used to make me laugh.
So you were quite happy meeting him. So it was like love at first sight, even though you were healing from a past relationship, but then you got into
so
but did you actually heal from that relationship before you got into the other one?
That is it. You see, again, that is the question. Everything now, me thinking back and, like going through a lot of therapy and counseling, is now like they are taking me back to, back in the days when I just broken up and me not healing from that before jumping into. And like I said, it wasn't me jumping because it took like way long, like a year before anything. Because again, like I said, he's not my kind of person. He's not my spec. And he grew on me because I'm always telling, not you. Like, we're just playing, like, hanging out. And but again, like I just said, he just used to make me laugh. And him making me happy then, that was what...
So that got you attracted to him because you just came out from a relationship and then you got to meet with another person who made you laugh, who you felt comfortable with. And I mean, come on, anyone would be happy to go into a relationship with somebody who makes them relax, like anyone would want to do that. So thank you for sharing that. So now you're in the relationship. you got married, you started having kids. So when exactly did this violence begin? Was it when you started having kids, or even before? Did you actually see the being aggressive? And is this verbal? Is this physical? Are these signs that you saw and you ignored?
It was after I had my first child that I started. I didn't see any. It wasn't. I didn't see anything. Like, I know he's the outgoing type. I am more of the reserved. I'm not really the outgoing, but I'll do like again.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you there. I like the way you said he is the outgoing type and you are kind of the reserved type. Is this some form of flag that may have caused that?
I don't. Maybe. But again, because like I said, I'm more of the reserved, person, and I don't mind because again, two of us together. I would always anything that makes him happy. You want to go out? I would do that. I can join in. I can like go out as long as it's the two of us. Like committing the crime together. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I'll bring myself, to do
so. You really don't mind him going out. It's fine with you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm cool with him going out. And if he wants me to come along, yeah, we'll roll together and do stuff together. But, and again, I'm not very, the monitoring type or, snooping around, checking phones. I'm not good with that. I don't do that. So I just let him be. Just have your way, do whatever you want to do. But I don't know. Something happened after I had my first child. I don't know. I can't be. I've tried to remember what led to an argument, and the next thing was, the guy just found something, and he was all over me, and he was just punching. And
so were you pregnant at the time that he bounced on you and started punching you?
I had my first child.
No, you had your first child. Okay.
And she was I think she was around, 5-6 months old. Yeah.
So you only had a baby at the time?
Yes. Yeah. And it was just, I don't know, it was just one small argument. I don't know. I don't know. I think he was having issues with work, and I don't know. Maybe it might sound as if I'm making excuses for him. But again, this is me. Even though now I'm learning that some things, you don't blame yourself or you stop making excuses for them. But this is me saying, because I would always try to put myself in the other person's shoes. Like, okay, let's see. Okay, maybe it's me. So I don't just, maybe I don't just assume it's the one, it's just the only one to blame. I try to, play both sides. Okay, maybe this is the reason why he did what he did. He acted up because he was having issues with work, and
so it wasn't working at the time. Would this be like the excuse that you're giving on his behalf? Oh, because he's not working, that's why he's angry. And yeah,
maybe, yeah. So financially, he was, because he was struggling with work, and so, and maybe that triggered that. But like I said, I never saw any red flag as,
during the courtship.
He would get angry. Yeah, he would. He's a person that, he's very blunt and he will always express himself. So if he's upset, he will always tell you. He'll come out to let you know. So when
that thing happened, when the first time that he laid his hands on you, like he physically, was that slapping you or kicking you or just saying things verbally as well? Punching. Yeah. And what did you do after that, or what did he do after that?
He went down. He was on the floor. He would, he would, when somebody maybe just performed some kind of, weird stuff, and just maybe or I had a nightmare. I just woken up from, a dream, and he just went on the floor, prostrated, and
Begging
he
you.
was sober. He was crying. He was, because I was shedding, like I was crying like a baby, and he was on the floor. He was rolling on the floor. He was begging me. He was, he was. I just said that. I thought, okay, maybe it was me. Maybe I don't know.
So you thought maybe it was you that said something that upset him and that led to the aggression.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
that was the
But
first
I
incident.
can't remember.
So you you
Yeah,
you
that was the first.
that happened, and you let go. You forgave him, I believe, at the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So did anything else happen after then? And how has that affected you?
Um, we kind of were kind of after that. I think we were separated for like because he now came over here. That happened in Nigeria. He now had to come here for his masters. So we were kind of apart, away,
For some
separated
time,
for like,
and then you
yeah, for
came
some
to
time.
join
So
him
that,
over here in the UK.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you
And
now
joining
joined him in the
here.
UK, and you started living together as a couple, as a family again, you had other children. Did the same thing happen again? I mean, hitting you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did. But initially, when I got here, he started with the emotion. He didn't start, it didn't escalate to the physical. He came with the emotional, verbal,
And were you able to
just,
speak to
like
someone about it?
church, church, because that was the only thing I knew, because I didn't know anybody. It was just church, the pastor, and all they could offer me was, we pray about it. God is in control. He'll get better, and
Did he get better though?
nothing. No. It grew worse. Yeah, it didn't.
And what were the things that he was doing that he didn't get better? For example, did he sit down to say, look, my wife, I know I've done this, and this is the reason. Well, there shouldn't be any reason for hitting anyone, not to talk of a woman.
He was lying
But did
about
he
it.
did
He was
he did he
lying.
say why, and that it will stop to do that? And did you tell him that what you're doing is wrong? I can report you to the services. Did you ever come to that to say, look, what you're doing is
I didn't
wrong?
know anything about reporting to the services. I didn't know anything about that. I did again, because again, where I'm from, our culture forbids that. You don't speak, you don't have a voice the moment you're in the marriage. They silence you like you don't have a voice.
Did you
You
say
don't have
from the
like you don't
culture
have an
that
opinion.
you're from, you do not have a voice,
Yeah,
and
but
you cannot report a man if they do something bad to you?
especially when you come all the way from Africa, from Nigeria precisely, and you're here, you speaking out, you reporting your husband is like a taboo.
It's like a taboo.
Even back home, yeah, it's like a taboo, because even back home, they tell you that they try to silence you if you say something about complain about your marriage, or what your husband is doing. They will tell you it's no big deal. Like my mother-in-law, there's this slogan that she always says to me. Stupid woman don't be local, foolish woman don't be local. Meaning, I will interpret it is, like, the book of Proverbs says a good woman, makes her home. But in our own interpretation means, you have to be foolish and stupid, remain, for you, if you want your marriage to actually
To
work
remain
out.
married.
If you want to remain married, you have to be stupid and foolish and overlook and, keep quiet and not, like, just carry on sweeping stuff under the carpet. Like, you don't challenge your husband, you pacify him, you wooing, even when he's done something that is affecting you, that might be affecting you health-wise, they tell you to bottle up and not,
And that will bring me
like,
to the next
no
one.
big deal.
So now that you've been advised, like it's in the culture not to speak up, because people are going to, maybe label you to be a bad wife and a bad mother, and the society see differently when your own husband that's supposed to be there for you and care for you is the same person that is beating you, coming on at will, talking you down. This would affect obviously self-esteem, mental health, your confidence. And again, and most importantly, there are children involved in these circumstances. So how have they been affected in this situation?
Because the children tend to, they actually, they pick on what you do really, that when you tell them, they can see things. Like, I used to worry a lot about my children going, because he drinks as well. Like, he drinks a lot. And I used to worry about my children, picking the bottle up and,
Did you just say he drinks a lot?
Yes, and it's not because it's fine if that's your life. If you choose to be reckless with your life, it's okay. But why I'm saying is in a way it could have affected.
Because I'm just wondering, drinking. I mean, if he wants to have a drink or two, I mean, he can drink. Yeah.
Yeah, he drinks in the house. Yeah, I mean, he's careless with the bottle.
Okay, so he's careless with the bottle. How do you mean? Sorry.
And I have to always keep. Because he dumps them every corner, like, and then my children, because again during the day they used to like apple juice, and with whiskey something, it looks kind of like the color kind of similar, and he might just be drinking and he would just leave the glass, and the glass might be half full.
Oh, I get you. So one of the children may just drink that
unattended to
by accident.
And the children will be there. So I'm constantly it's like you having a grown up over whatever baby that you have to
like a grown baby.
Man, you have to, watch him and still educate him, talk to him about you can't do this because you have kids. What if they just pick this glass up and and drink or taste from your drink, which is I wouldn't want a situation whereby we'd end up at the hospital and they would smell or they would so it's always that was my major.
So you always have to be concerned and pick up after him. Yeah.
Report us, the police and everything. That would make them take the children away from us. So that was kind of a big issue in our house.
Yeah.
With the way he thinks and just.
I'm with you. So I want to say, with the children now, because I mean, like the violence. Sorry, I was saying, can you hear me?
Start shouting. He goes, "You're too loud, too loud." He start, like he's saying, like panicking, covering his ears and making this,
Oh, he's panicking. I think I lost you there.
He's rocking himself, but he will be saying. You will see him putting his hands, his two hands to cover him, like, and so I would always quickly just walk away or take him down or out of the room and say, you know what, I'm not having this big discussion. That would die the whole thing down. But in a way, it was affecting my children. Again,
so it affected them very negatively. So did you mention that one of them would hold his hands? And I mean, put his hand on across his head. Okay, so would that be from when you guys are arguing, or when or maybe he drinks a lot more than usual, or when he's hitting you?
like when we are arguing, like when he tends to be loud when he kind of he tipsy. Because he will
Oh,
tell you I'm not
when
drunk.
he's had a bit too much to drink, it's a bit loud when he talks.
He will boy, yeah, and because again he says he's tipsy, but he's not drunk.
He's
So
not
I
drunk, a
can
bit
tell
tipsy,
that
yeah.
no. Yeah, he will always say he's tipsy, but I can tell that no, it's going off. But he say I'm tipsy, I'm not drunk. I know what I'm doing.
And is that
I know
like
what
a
I'm talking
trigger
about.
for you?
It is again because again I'm concerned about it. There are some stuff that you can do when the kids have gone to bed when they are not there. I always say, can you suspend whatever it is they do? Can you wait till when the kids have gone to bed? So they don't see these things.
So that they don't witness all of the arguments or the confrontation, so to
Yes.
just keep them away, safeguard them from witnessing all of that, because at the end of the day it does affect the children, because they don't know what's coming next. They don't know when someone is going to be angry and somebody is going to be verbally and physically abusive towards their mom, and this person is the dad, and mom can't say anything, like you said, even though you shared this with your religious house, and I don't think you mentioned that anything was done around it except to probably pray, which is something, but pray and I don't know what else, some form of
They
support.
don't offer you any.
So
No, they
like
don't
any
offer
other
you.
support, maybe like counseling, or maybe referring you to services, because I want to believe at the time that you weren't in employment, so you kind of totally relied on him for finance. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So all of this, you mostly had no choice, did you, than to accept?
No, I didn't. I didn't. This is what I had to deal with. I had to live with. I had to cope with. And
Sorry, I didn't get that.
yeah, I just tell you, I think what I had to live with. And there was no any other support coming from anywhere or anybody. And then, like I said, you don't talk about your marriage per se. You don't, except for the fact, okay, you going to church and believing that, okay, you're sharing this with your pastor. And
So there's a lot of people bought on it. So what will you say to people in this situation? At this time, you've lived this experience, and I know that we discussed at length before now, and I see there's good outcome. So what advice would you give to other women who are in this kind of situation?
It's walk away while you're still alive.
Walk away while you're still alive.
And yeah, and you're still breathing, yeah. Yeah.
Walk away while you're still alive. So what form of support did you get? And how have you been able to, can you share some of that with us, please? Not to mention, any name.
I don't know. Where I am. Where I am is around West Midland, and they have Panagra. They support women or domestic abuse survivor. They have Safe Haven, Coventry.
Safe Haven, okay.
Yeah, they do the same thing.
So they support women going through domestic abuse and violence, yeah. And there's the women's aid as well. There's so many refugees, And before you got to this, before you got to getting this help, did you reach out to people to say, look, this is what I'm going through? And what kind of advice did you get from them? And did it help you? And why did you make up your mind?
I didn't get any support, any advice. Mine was at the point of death.
Was it at the point of death, you said?
Not that bad.
And did
Yes,
your mental
because
health,
my daughter
did
back.
it affect your mental health?
It did affect. I wasn't sleeping.
You
I
weren't
was losing
sleeping.
it. I wasn't sleeping at all. I was losing it. I was like a scarecrow. I didn't leave because I didn't know where to turn to, who to ask for, help or support from. But it was at the point that mine almost killed me. He strangled me and almost killed me. And I got
And
the
on all through this point, you
uh,
didn't deem it fit to call for help. Like for support from the police. I mean, somebody was trying
it
to
was when I
strangle
got to the
you
hospital.
to death.
No, it was when I got to the hospital. It was the hospital that kind of saved me,
So
and
you got to the
that
hospital.
was it. Yes, yes, because I had a bruise. I after he strangled me, and it was my children that saved me actually. If not, maybe I wouldn't be here today.
Bless them.
So we
Bless
wouldn't be
them.
having this conversation. So my children saved me,
So you say
and
your
obviously
children
maybe I
saved you.
wouldn't be here.
What did they do? Did they ring for the ambulance when this happened?
No, that wasn't the case. What happened actually was because my daughter, that in the night, she had gone to bed late because she had her homework assignment from school, and she had just gone to bed. And so I remember that she had just gone to bed, and when everything, it happened so fast, and it happened just like I was dreaming. It happened so fast, and this person his two hands were around my neck, choking me and pinning me down, and I was fighting for my life. Like I can't go down like this, and he wasn't letting go, but I was fighting, and what came to my mind was my daughter's name,
Hmm.
and I was going. I was,
And
I'm
you
trying
reached
to
out to
scream
your
and
daughter
feel.
to save you.
And yes, she heard me. I think, yeah, she heard me. And immediately she ran downstairs. And I didn't know that the brother too was in. They had gone to bed earlier, but he was still kind of awake. So both of them, they rushed down. And that was the moment he let go, you know. And
So it could, if they weren't there, it could have been another story today. So you could have died.
definitely, 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 definitely. So I'd say they saved me, and
So how is your relationship
absolutely.
with your children now? Is everything okay
Yeah,
with them?
well, they get one step at a time. We're moving forward. I would say that there have been things that they've just been emotionally down. That I've had to call their things to say
Did
no.
you say
That
they're
they are
emotionally down? Do you feel they're broken as well?
yeah, they would just they would just break down, like start crying, yelling, and like uncontrollably. Like I wouldn't be able to, like, I don't know, pacify them. Sometimes I get confused myself. Really,
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
like sometimes because again, I don't know how to help them sometimes. So they just got into tears, like in the middle of the night, crying and
So they
asking
cry
people to
sometimes in
take
the middle
care.
of the night.
Yes, like they can't come in today because they just emotionally down. And
I hope you get the right help for them. Like sometimes, even as children, they would need some form of support, maybe counseling and, maybe from school,
yeah,
just so
they had
they.
something similar. I think Safe Haven had something for kids. They did that with them. It's called I think Wish, called something Wish. So they had that. They did that with them for a period of time. Yeah, so I think that kind of helps them in a way because again, they were not. My daughter, she's she's a teenager. She's between 14 and 16.
Yeah.
And again, sharing, even though there was kind of at school, there was kind of they had this support slash counseling
For
but
them.
she wasn't ready to share.
Okay.
You understand? Because she said it's kind of embarrassing for her to. This is like a space. School, they know her and she knows them, and so she felt, oh, they like maybe they might judge her.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to share that part of her life in school.
Yes, with them at school. Yeah. Well, the wish, because it was from outside school, so I think that kind of helped them. They were able to kind of
open up to them.
Yeah.
Very well. Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you for sharing your journey, and I hope things works well for you now that you have moved on. And this is it's a very deep topic and it's very sensitive, and I want to say thank you once again. This.
Yeah, but again,
yeah.
I would like to point something out. But again, it's too ongoing, kind of in a way, because again, they don't just. Like you said, maybe from our culture, maybe with the way the men are, the upbringing of the men, it's still kind of ongoing. Like you owe them your life. They still like look for a way to attack you.
I know, but you don't. This is the narrative that we need to change now. That we women, from Africa and whatever part of Africa or whatever part of the world, as women or even as men, that this is unacceptable and there's help out there, and it is not your fault, because some people are very good at making you believe that it is your fault that I'm hitting you, it is your fault that I'm verbally abusive towards you, and it is your fault that this marriage is not working. Marriage is not supposed to be a do or die. It's something that is meant to be enjoyed. People should respect each other in marriages, and it shouldn't be a do or die. And I like the way you said you're able to talk to me today because of your daughter, because she helped you out, and your other children as well. So, some people are not that lucky, bad things happen at the time when we feel, oh, you're not meant to be in that relationship, you're supposed to be out. But there's a lot of factors that you said, that would make people stay in that relationship, maybe religious belief, culture, the society, your own family, it could be finance, it could be immigration issues, a lot of things make people stay, and these are not enough reasons as well to stay in any abusive relationship. Honestly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on Conversation with Mrs. Pham. And like I said again, I hope things continue to get better and we continue to change our narrative on the labeling part of it, and people will not judge you for making the right decision to have a good, peaceful life. Because at the end of the day, we need peace, don't we, just?
Yeah.
I hope you continue to enjoy the peace.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on Conversation with Mrs. Pham. Take care of yourself. Bye for now. Bye. So like we always say, we just want to thank our guests on today's program, for sharing our journey. It's a really very sensitive issue to talk about. And, I really want to commend our courage to be able to talk about, like our family and, especially about our children, as a form of support for her. Now she's moved on, she's getting the right support, and this is just encouraging people out there that there's the support. You need to talk to people, and we have to change our mindset, especially about labeling, about cultural beliefs, about what the family either from the husband's family or your family, what they're going to say about you, having to seek help. It is not a bad thing to seek help, especially when your life is in danger. Because, like she said, her mental health was affected, her physical health was affected, our children are broken, a lot of things have gone bad, but now she's getting her life back. You can get your life back. Thank you for watching this program. If you would want to come on this program and you want to remain anonymous, you don't want your face to be shown, we could talk like we just did with our last guest. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share. We want you to share your expertise as well on Conversation with Mrs. Pham. Thank you and God bless.